The Irish rappers Kneecap absolutely took over Coachella and the entire news for the last few days over their crazy Coachella performance. We're about to break down everything that happened in the last couple of days because of Coachella. They had some great ideas, they had some crackpot ideas. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Whose side are you on? For those who don't know, Kneecap are a massive Irish band. They're kind of a rap group. They rap in Irish, they rap in English, and they kind of promote the Irish culture, of course, abroad. But they're absolutely nuts, guys. And recently in Coachella, they put up a bunch of signs talking about the Israeli-Palestinian war. Of course, Hamas versus Israel. It was going absolutely crazy. And the signs behind them explain it all. So in the middle of the performance, they put up Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people, along with a bunch of other signs. They said it is being enabled by the US government who arm and fund Israel despite their war crimes. So we know Netanyahu has actually been convicted of a few war crimes abroad. And of course, for those who don't know, Ireland is one of the only countries in the world that really supports the Palestinian people. Of course, that's not to say, guys, we support Hamas. We absolutely do not support Hamas or Hezbollah or any terrorist organization. Absolutely not. Okay, that's one thing you have to make clear to people, because to suggest that you support a terrorist organization is absolutely insane, guys. And actually, we're going to get into it in a few minutes. Kneecap really screwed up, but it's true, guys. In a fairness, to Kneecap, they do understand that the U.S. government does have a lot of money, and they do push their sort of guns and their military and bombs to these places to actually bomb these countries. It's absolutely insane, just like it happened in Iraq, a sovereign country. Same in Afghanistan. A lot of people were against those wars. We now see like an escalation of this war. I think 40,000 Palestinian people have been murdered, have been killed, innocent people. They're very heavy-handed. Of course, as well, October 7th was not good. That was a horrendous terrorist act committed by a group that shouldn't even be near the Palestinian people, but for some reason they've kind of hijacked this whole movement now, Hamas have, and it's just absolutely disgraceful to see. But the last one they put up made the overall biggest news in the whole last few weeks, guys. It just says, F Israel, free Palestine. And that's basically just blown up the news, guys. I mean, that is just basically taken over. And it's crazy to see, that their platform that they were given, for Coachella, because they have a massive platform now, they use that to basically push that sort of message. And it's pretty heroic to see, guys. Kneecap are pretty heroic. I don't personally love their music or anything like that, but I mean, standing up for what you believe in, I mean, I can get behind that, guys. So they put up another post, okay, where they talk about Coachella, the artists, Palestine artists, against apartheid, different things. We're about to listen in, guys.
Not so long ago, we're persecuted at the hands of the Brits, but we were never bombed from the fucking skies with nowhere to go. The Palestinians have nowhere to go. It's their fucking home, and they're bombing them from the skies. If you're not calling it a genocide, what the fuck are you calling it?
Yeah, I mean, I've made many videos on this, guys. I shouldn't be laughing, really, but it's laughable that people can agree with that. Of course, there's these Zionist people that love to see innocent people getting murdered. Absolutely do not like to see that. I don't like to see any murder on either side. War is absolutely horrendous. But he kind of compares the main guy, Mohara. Mohara means my friend, I think, in Irish. Mohara is like the name of the actual artist. Okay, and they using the comparison of the British war, the bombing, the colonization of Ireland for the last 800 years in Ireland, the Republic. Of course, I'm from Galway. He's using that, comparing to the Palestinian war, which it is very, very, very true, guys. Very true. Ireland's one of the only countries in the world that actually supports Palestine, and it's basically terrorist attacks, that have happened upon them. Of course, Hamas have terrorist attacks, guys. But, what you call bombing hospitals and schools, I mean, if you guys take it from a logical standpoint, if there was a mass shooter like in America in these schools where they go in and shoot up the people, they don't just carpet bomb the whole school and kill 400 kids. They actually send, the police, the SWAT team, special forces in to actually neutralize. And that's what they should be doing to Hamas. Instead, they're taking a really heavy-handed approach, bombing schools, bombing, flipping everything. It's too much, guys. And people have seen that, Free. So they kind of go on about that for a little while. So anyways, they got massive backlash in their campaign, okay, which, that campaign obviously lasted at Coachella for a while. It's crazy, the backlash they got, because they're basically just stating facts, guys, honestly. Now, we're going to go into where they lost me, okay? But first, they basically gave the message, okay? They went on RTE, okay, News Radio 1, RTE 1, to actually explain their Coachella images. So the Kneecap's manager came on and explained everything. So let's hear what he has to say about it, because they got massive backlash. People were calling for them to be flipping cancelled, completely take away their US visas. And actually, the US visas actually got taken away. And they have a full US tour planned. So yeah, we all know, why that was, guys, honestly. But yeah, let's hear exactly what the Kneecap's manager said.
The real issue here is that somewhere between 50 and 100,000 people have been murdered. 20,000 of them are children.
Yep.
And, if somebody is offended by what were factual images, and, if somebody's hurt by the truth, that's something for them to be hurt by. But it's really important to speak truth. And thankfully, the lads are not afraid to do that. Euromed have said yesterday, Israeli forces have deliberately targeted 37 aid distribution centres.
They bomb like refugee camps. I mean, it's just, and then they say, well, there was one Hamas guy there. Well, it's like, well, then there's tons of kids around. It's just a disaster, guys. What they're doing there is just a disaster. Now, I know a lot of conservative people will not agree with me on that, because, if you take the Free Palestine stance, then a lot of people will say, oh, well, you have to agree with the blue-haired hippies with the nose rings. And, I mean, it is what it is, guys. If you're conservative and against woke DEI bullshit, you can also be pro-Palestine, for sure, guys, and not pro-Palestine in the sense of the Hamas killing people. We don't want to see that, guys. Like I explained, very, very nuanced, but definitely the people to actually have a little bit of land so that they can live freely, right? They should just build a huge wall and then live kind of a two-party kind of state, right?
And 28 food banks as part of a systematic and deliberate policy to starve civilians. Now, how we're not leading with that as the topic of discussion rather than the opinions of individuals who felt hurt by factual information is just something that I can't understand.
Okay, and you will know, Daniel, that Israel will deny that they are deliberately starving individuals.
We consistently bring this back to the opinion of the Israeli government. Time and time again, the statements of the Israeli government have been proven to be lies. Most recently, the execution of 15 medical workers and the burying of them and their ambulances in a shallow grave. It was all lies, and once the information and the video came out, they changed the story. The murder of Shireen, the journalist, the Washington Post, a comprehensive investigation showed she was deliberately targeted by the IDF. At what point here do we stop amplifying messages that are consistently proven to be incomplete and inaccurate? When do we do that? Really?
Yeah, so he actually sounds pretty right-wing conservative there, the manager. He said, the facts don't care about your feelings, guys, because they're attacking these people. These are factual statements, and of course we've heard all the different, reports that they're talking to the generals in Israel and stuff, and they're saying, hey, don't bomb this weapon, aid that's coming in to help them. And then lo and behold, they kill everyone, and it's very heavy-handed, very, very crazy what's happening. So yeah, then I came across this post that said Irish rap group gets US visa yanked after Coachella controversy. Okay, so 1 minute they're making headlines at Coachella, and the next they're packing their bags. Kneecap's American tour just hit a wall, so they've completely been derailed, okay? Now, I haven't seen a confirmed statement that their tour has been done, because if you look at all the tour dates, Denver, Salt Lake City, Pomona, California, New York, Toronto, all these different places. There's a list of probably 25 different places in the US that they're going to be touring next year, okay? And it seems to me October 28th, it seems to me that, that tour is just going to be done for now, okay? Starting in April 14th. So it's actually, those few dates that they've had, I'm not sure have they actually gone on those dates or not. But yeah, absolutely crazy. So their tour is basically cancelled because Sharon Osbourne came out. Sharon Osbourne, who is like a rock singer, it's Ozzy Osbourne's wife. She came out against Kneecap saying that their American visas should be revoked. And she said, you don't F with the Osbournes. She said she's a powerhouse in the music industry. And, in either way, guys, it's a shit show from either side. Now, this is where Kneecap lose me. And this is where Kneecap have to just really watch the news and get focused and actually be objectively professionals about it. Because they're not at all, guys. They just say shit on the news, and it's crazy. Because when you see that F this place, free, it's not best to be saying that. I would take a more delicate approach. You could say, you know, F the flipping, Israeli government, not the people. I know they mean the government, not the people, but you have to be very careful about who you're aiming that at, guys, because, you know, it can easily be interpreted that you're attacking a group of people, okay, and you're being anti-Semitic, right? So Kneecap here publicly supported Islamic terrorist groups Hamas and Hezbollah, okay, last November in London concert, okay? Listen to this. This is just a disgrace. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. They're high on drugs. It looks like Kneecap smoke drugs. They drink too much. They're just insane. So listen to this, guys. Absolutely insane. So he said Chuck Yerla, which means our day will come, you know, kind of like Free Ireland type of thing, right? For those who don't know, in Irish, Chuck Yerla, it's like a really famous quote. Then he says up Hamas, up Hezbollah. Now, this guy is absolutely insanely stupid to even say that, because for those who don't know, recently, last year I believe it happened, okay, one of our own soldiers, Private Sean Rooney, got killed by Hezbollah in Lebanon. I mean, the stupidity of him to say that, the Kneecap guy. I mean, I would have came out straight away and apologized, because that's just ridiculous. Yeah, everyone knows about Sean Rooney, what happened, you know, RIP. Absolute disgraceful to say that, guys. I don't know what, like I said, he's doing too much drugs or what's the crack there, but like, Kneecap need to just reel it in, guys, because that is just absolutely ludicrous. So, okay, so the next story I want to talk about here, we have government unveils counter disinformation strategy to minister warns of threat to democracy. So again, guys, they want to get rid of our, you know, information and call it disinformation. If you have any other opinion that doesn't align with the government or doesn't align with the RT news, the propaganda media, then you are disinformation. Okay, it says here, Media Minister Patrick O'Donovan said the whole of society's response is required to counter disinformation. And why is that? Why can't we have free speech in this country? You heard it. Kneecap's manager just said it. Let's have free speech. Hell yeah, let's have free speech. No, they want to shut you down, make you quiet. Okay, so you have no voice in this. So it said a government strategy to counter disinformation has been published today, aiming to tackle the effects of damaging false information online. What's false? We don't know. There's no ontological reason. There's no ontological list. There's no list. It can be interpreted however you see. Hate speech can be interpreted by me or you differently. So we don't have an actual law for hate speech, which is great, because it can be interpreted differently by different people. Anything can be interpreted as hate speech. The strategy, which was due to be published last year, outlines a number of commitments for the government in tackling disinformation, including promoting greater media literacy and countering foreign information interference. I mean, I don't know what they mean by that. Like, Russia's interfering with us. It's complete bullshit, guys. Among the actions, the strategy calls for support in the growth of expertise on fact-checking and pre-bunking. I mean, whatever that means. On X, previously known as Twitter, they actually have fact-checking quotes. So I don't know why it's completely ridiculous. The strategy aims to strengthen trust in public institutions and the media. Very key phrase there. The strategy also aims to strengthen trust in public institutions and the media. Basically, the government of Ireland only wants you watching RT News, Joe.ie, Virgin Media, you know, all the big propaganda networks, BBC, you know, where they harbor pedophiles and stuff. It's absolutely insane. It says more support in the form of training and knowledge exchange for media practitioners is required for the timely and effective disinformation or fact checks and disinformation analysis. That means that people like me, a citizen journalist, okay, a man that can just upload videos, talk about the news, have my own opinion, is not going to be allowed anymore. How the hell is that even a thing, guys? It's just disgraceful. The feasibility of funding Strand under the media fund for the fact-checking pre-bunking community should be explored. I mean, ridiculous. Media Minister said that it was a serious challenge of tackling disinformation, which he added can only be met by the whole of society response. So he needs everyone in the society to be against it. Whereas now the people are waking up, guys. I mean, Ireland's like the last country to wake up. We see Italy, Spain, France all waking up. The government's like, what's with this woke bullshit, DEI, you know, Marxist ideology shit. He said now America, of course, you know, we have Venezuela, we have these different countries, El Salvador waking up to putting people in jail for these big crazy crimes, MS-13, these big gangs. And now the Irish government are saying, no, we want to go backwards. We want to go backwards, guys. We actually want to, you know, curtail free speech. It's completely ridiculous. He said disinformation is a danger to society, danger to democracy, matter of fact, adding that it affects people's ability to distinguish from fact and fiction in their day-to-day lives. Well, if people can't distinguish between fact and fiction, they're idiots, guys. And the people watching this video, you know that you can distinguish between fact and fiction because you're intelligent. High IQ, regular working class to middle class people, you know, the rich elites, guys. They want you to think that you can't determine what's fact and fiction. They're literally calling you stupid. This is the government calling you stupid. Patrick O'Donovan is calling the Irish public an idiot. According to a Eurobarometer survey, 86% of Europeans believe that the rapid spread of disinformation is a major problem to democracy. That is false. That is complete bullshit survey. That is complete lies. Don't believe any of these surveys. Complete nonsense. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. Again, another media slander campaign to slander and take away freedom of speech in this country. Well, I for one will not be having it. I love you guys all. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to help support me push back against the mainstream media, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today. County Gains News Network signing off, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.